Thank you so much for joining us this evening. This is the first concert the Symphony Band has had with live people since December of 2019. Thank you for joining us this evening. We really, really appreciate it. Since the pandemic began, of course, just like you and schools around the world, we've been trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, what's safe. At the same time, trying to make sure that we're giving the students a good education and that they grow and that they learn. The first semester, we primarily did chamber music and did not meet as a full group until this semester when we finally figured everything out. And so the first time we had everybody together and we played as an ensemble, it was such an amazing feeling to hear all the instruments together in the same room at the same time. And so we hope by next fall, you're going to be able to be here in the audience with us in person live so we can hear your applause. But we're imagining how thunderous it's going to be after each piece tonight. The first piece we're going to do is by Jerry Billick, written in 1955, and he wrote it in memory of his alma mater, the University of Michigan. And when he wrote it, he had in mind the University of Michigan marching band. When they did their pregame show before every football game, they would march out and form a Block M, hence the title, Block M. So it's a pretty traditional march in its form, but some of the harmonies are a little bit unique, and we hope you enjoy it, and this goes out to all my Michigan friends over at the University of Michigan. Hope you enjoy Block M March. Michael Sweeney was commissioned to write this next piece for the Woodward Academy in Atlanta, Georgia, for the band program there. And it's one of the earliest private school institutions of its kind in the United States. It formed in 1900. And for many decades, it had a really close relationship, for some reason, with a lot of educators in Cuba. And so some educators would come back and forth and work at the school, and even some students would come and study at the Woodward Academy. And the title of the piece, Blue Mambo, is indicative because the mambo itself, the dance, the mambo, originated in Cuba, and it's kind of in their soul and what they do. And so this piece, just like it says, Blue Mambo, it starts off with kind of a bluesy kind of section, and into the mambo section. And we even have Tito Puente back here on the drums. He's going to do a great job for us, and on the congas and all kinds of stuff back there. So if you want to get up and dance, great. You could take some videos of yourselves and send them to us. We'd love to see them. But please enjoy Michael Sweeney's Blue Mambo. Were you dancing? I hope you were dancing. Oh, we have Ethan on the flugelhorn solo there. Ethan, I forgot to have you stand up. Stand up, Ethan. Really nice job. He hadn't ever played a flugelhorn, I don't think, until a few weeks ago. Speaking of a few weeks ago, we normally rehearse 2 to 2.5 hours every week, and because of COVID restrictions and protocols, we only can meet for 1 hour maximum per week. So we put this concert together for you in 6 hours, and I think that's pretty remarkable to make that happen. It just shows that the students are really dedicated and just love their craft and just want to make music for you. The next tune, Chase the Shouting Wind by Vince Gassi, depicts the story of, it's a poem that he based this off of. And I just want to read the poem to you. The poem itself was entitled High Flight, and it was composed by Pilot Officer John G. McGee, who was an American serving with the Royal Canadian Air Force. And he wrote this in September of 1941. Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter, silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things. You have not dreamed of wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlight silence, hovering there. I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue I've topped the wind-swept heights with easy grace, where never lark nor eagle ever flew. And while the silent lifting mind I've trod, the high untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God. Now, I've only flown commercially in big jets and planes and things of that nature, but I can only imagine what it would feel like, particularly at that time frame with the technology that existed, flying a plane by yourself up into the sky, above the clouds, and into that space where there's nothingness. And I can just imagine. I think this captures exactly what that might feel like. So we hope you enjoy Chase the Shouting Wind. Very exciting. The next piece by Carl Holmquist is based on a melody of a lullaby that came down through 5 or 6 generations through his wife's family. They're not sure where it originated. They've done the research, they've looked, they've tried to figure out where it came from, but no luck. But it's a beautiful little tune. And when we get to the height of the piece, towards the end, he superimposes Away in a Manger, and you can almost hear Amazing Grace in there just a little bit too. Now this particular piece is unique in how it's written because typically every instrument gets their own part written specifically for them. First clarinet, second clarinet, third clarinet, etc. This particular piece is written in what we call flex band, and it has 5 basic parts to it. Similar to like a choir, most choirs would have 4, this has 5. And each instrument can play multiple parts, and who plays what part is up to the conductor. So some people might be playing part 1, some people will be playing part 2, etc., etc. And so just for a show of hands here, who's playing part 1 on this piece? Raise them up. Part 2, part 3, 4, and 5. Yes, and then of course we have percussion. They're their own people. So this has been very popular probably in the last 20 years with smaller school districts that maybe have a small program and they don't have every instrument in their band, and then they can get this kind of an arrangement and disperse the parts so everyone, you can hear all the music that's supposed to be being played. It's also become more popular during the pandemic because we can only rehearse in small groups generally, or smaller groups than what's typical. And so using the flex band for a lot of people makes a lot of sense. This is the first time I've done a piece that is flex band, and it's really been a very interesting learning experience for myself. And we hope you enjoy this Cradle Moon by Carl Holmquist. Just a lovely, lovely piece of music. Before I forget, if I already did it, it doesn't matter. I can say it again. I really wish to thank Tyler Tullifson and all of the folks that are helping do this live stream. They've just been a treat to work with, and this is the first time that we've been involved in live streams in the groups that I've been doing last night and tonight in my lifetime in terms of this kind of a setup. And it's really, they've just been so professional, and it's just been excellent. So thank you so much, Tyler and crew. The last piece we're going to play for you, oh, before I forget, we do have some more concerts live streamed at the end of the semester, May 11th and May 12th. The 11th will again be the strings and the orchestra winds, and the 12th will be this group, the symphony band. Of course, a whole new slate of music. And hopefully in the fall we'll see you back in this auditorium. We can't wait to be a part of that all together again. William Owens, a very well-known American composer, wrote this next piece in commemoration to the Pony Express. And I just want to read what he has written so you can kind of get the entire gist of what he wants you to get out of this piece of music. The mail must go through. This simple four-word creed was the unswerving mission statement of one of America's most legendary, though short-lived, institutions. The Pony Express. Spurred by the ever-looming threat of civil war, the Pony Express was born from the need for faster communication with the West. The service began in April 1860 when riders left simultaneously from St. Joseph, Missouri and Sacramento, California. Consisting of horse riders carrying saddlebags of mail across a 2,000-mile trail, any given trip averaged 10 days and covered approximately 250 miles in a 24-hour period. In time, the service would eventually grow to over 100 stations, 90 riders, and roughly 500 horses. The express rider's journey was fraught with hazards and danger, as job advertisements would read, "Wanted, young, skinny, wiry fellows, not over 18. Must be expert riders, willing to risk death daily. Orphans preferred." Those are the exact words, actually. The service proved itself astonishingly efficient during its time, losing only one delivery. With the advent of the Pacific Telegraph in October 1862, the tenacious Pony Express would be rendered obsolete after a glorious 19-month run. We've all heard of the Pony Express. It was really only in existence for 19 months. I find that fascinating. This piece captures that. It's getting on the horse and we go, and we're riding fast, trying to cover as much ground as we can. When it gets to be nighttime, we're still going. The tempo is still the same, but it's twilight and it's dark. And then it gets daylight again and we keep moving. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it, and we can hear your applause through the camera, and we hope that we get to see you again soon. This is our final number. Thank you for joining us. you again for coming.